Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe with Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. I've got an exciting video for you guys today. Join me as I make a jalapeno cheddar summer sausage. Stay tuned. All right, let's get started on this summer sausage video. I am starting with a 19-pound brisket, and I've got 7 pounds of pork shoulder right here. Now this does have the bone inside of it still, so once I take that bone out, I'm gonna have about 6 pounds of pork and 19 pounds of brisket, which is gonna be a 65% beef, about 35% pork. All right, so the only thing that I'm gonna trim off of this brisket is this oxidized meat right here. Just take a really small thin edge of that off. I don't like that on my brisket, whether I'm smoking it or using it for sausage. So just clean that up. And if I see anything else that does not look pleasing, I'll also take that off. Like this piece right here, it's a little dark. Just shave that off. And just one more little piece right here, and we are good to go. Now I did have this brisket in my freezer, so it's partially frozen. So all I'm doing right now is cutting this down into strips, and then I'm gonna cut it down into small cubes, just large enough to fit down the throat of my grinder. All right, so I've got my brisket cut up into strips. The only thing left to do is to cut it up into cubes, probably 2.5 by 2.5, because this is what fits down the throat of my grinder. So I'm gonna cut the rest of this brisket up, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I got the brisket and our pork shoulder all cubed up. Now I did want to show you the blade of our pork shoulder, and you can see there's still a little bit of meat on there, but again, you can't get it all off. You can save this and make some soup out of it if you want. All right, so I've got the hopper loaded with some of the meat. I am starting with a 10mm die. We are gonna be grinding this twice. The first time is a 10mm, and the second time will be a 4.5mm die. So let's grind this up. So this meat is still extremely cold, and so is my grinding equipment. As you can see, we got some frost on there, and that's key when making summer sausage. Keep everything nice and cold. All right, so I've got the meat ground up. Now just a little tip right here, you're always gonna have a little bit of meat that gets stuck in here that doesn't get ground up. What I like to do is just grab some of the meat that you've already got ground up, throw some back inside your grinder, and that's gonna force that meat that's in there, force it out. Okay, here we go. So you might have to use your plunger for this, so just gently push it down. And there we go. All right, so now it's time to add our jalapeno summer sausage seasoning. Now this package is from Pia Seasoning, and this will do 25 pounds of meat. If you're only doing 12.5 pounds, just weigh this out and put half of the package in there. So this already has some dehydrated jalapenos, and you will see that I'm gonna add a little bit more once I put this mixture inside my mixer, okay? So just spread out the seasoning. Okay, so just mix in that seasoning really well. Then we're gonna get our grinder ready, throw on the 4.5mm plate, and grind this up a second time. Stay tuned. All right, so let's throw on the 4.5mm die. This is real simple to replace. Just pop this out a little bit. Now here's that meat that I was talking about. Now most of this is already ground up, as you can see, okay? But we're gonna pass that through a second time, so we're gonna be okay. All right, tighten that up really good. Turn your grinder on. Let's pass all this meat through. All right, so I've got the grinding attachment off. Now it's time to mate our mixer. Just slide that in and tighten up your set screw right here. All right, so now we're just gonna load our meat onto our mixer. All right, so for this next step, I'm adding a package of the number 159 Maple Cure, also from PS Seasonings. Now this package will treat 25 pounds of meat. So all I'm gonna do is open this up. I'm gonna add it to 16 ounces of water. Just grab a whisk and mix that up really well. Now in total, we're gonna add about 32 ounces of water. So this is 16 ounces. If I use any less, depending on the consistency of our summer sausage, I will let you guys know. All right, so I'm gonna turn on the mixer and slowly add this cure, mix it with our water. So that's been mixing for 1 minute. I'm gonna throw this in reverse for about 30 seconds. All right, I'm gonna put it back in forward and throw in 8 more ounces of water. All right, so that's been mixing for 4 minutes. Let me check the tackiness of this. Make sure we got that really nice protein extraction. You know, it's feeling a little dry. So I'm gonna add the other 8 ounces of water and continue to mix this up. All right, so this has been mixing for 5 minutes now. I'm gonna go ahead and add 2.5 pounds of high temperature cheddar cheese. This is still frozen. And I also diced up 4 medium-sized jalapenos. Just throw that in there. Remember, the mix already has some jalapenos, some dehydrated jalapenos, but I want a little bit extra jalapenos in my summer sausage. All right, so I'm gonna mix this for 2 minutes. All right, so this has been mixing for 7 minutes. One very last ingredient that we're gonna add to our summer sausage is this encapsulated citric acid. What this is gonna do, it's gonna act as a cure accelerator. This is also gonna increase the shelf life of our summer sausage. It's gonna lower that pH in our sausage as well. That's gonna make it a bit more shelf stable. And lastly, by adding the citric acid, it's gonna give you that very familiar tangy taste when you bite into a piece of summer sausage. So we're gonna be adding 1.5 ounces of this encapsulated citric acid. So I'm just gonna start our mixer and slowly mix that in. All right, so this has been mixing for 60 seconds, and you don't want to mix it any more than that. You got to remember that the citric acid is sitting inside of a capsule, if you will, and you don't want to burst that capsule. What's really going to burst that capsule is the temperature of your sausage. You want to make sure that you reach 150 degrees. Once it reaches 150 degrees, that capsule is going to burst, releasing the citric acid into your sausage. All right, so let's dump out our summer sausage mixture. One of the beautiful things about this mixture right here is you can tip it over, just like so. Make sure your tub is locked in, turn the grinder on, and it should push the meat out by itself. All right, so now all you gotta do is reach in here and get the rest of our sausage mixture out, and this is really nice and sticky. Look at this stuff. That is perfect. All right, so I've got my stuffing container, and I'm just gonna add my summer sausage mixture and pack it in there really nice and tight. This is extremely sticky. It almost wants to grab a hold of my glove and take it right off. So just get rid of any air pockets that you have in there. All right, that looks good right there. Put our container in there, make sure our piston is nice and tight, and lower that just a bit. Now for summer sausages, you want to grab the largest horn that you have. This one's probably about 1 inch wide. So the summer sausage mixture is going to flow really nice and easy through this large horn. So I'm just going to lower the piston down a little bit more. Release that air, just like that. Just like making sausage, you want to make sure you get your mixture to the tip of the horn and then pull it back. All right, so I've got my casings right here, and I did get these from PS Seasoning. Actually, everything that I use in this video you can find from PS Seasoning, and they have been soaking in warm water for about an hour and a half now. So push this casing all the way to the tip of the horn, hold it really nice and tight, and start to crank on the piston and fill up that casing. Look at that, really nice and easy. Make sure you pack it in really nice and tight as well. All right, that looks good to me. So just slide this off. What you want to do at this point is twist your casing and really pack that sausage in there. Now, I don't have one of those nice fancy crimping machines, so I'm just going to twist. And I do have some butcher's twine right here. Just tie a nice tight knot at the end of your casing. Just like that. Let's do a double knot right here. And there we have it. Nice and compact summer sausage casing. I'm gonna get the rest of these done and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, so I've got all these summer sausage casings filled up and I ended up with 14 or about 12 and 2 little ones, okay? So this little one thing that I learned is do not overstuff your casing. Remember, you still have to twist this and put your butcher's twine, and this was your leftover, okay? That's how much I overstuffed all of these casings, so that's one thing that I learned. The other thing is, on these casings, you can actually tell, this is the first one that I did. Hopefully the camera can pick it up. There's a bunch of little holes in here that allows the sausage to breathe, if you will. And if you can see in some places, you can see some of the summer sausage mixture coming out, okay? To me, that's an overstuffed casing. And then as I started to stuff these other casings, you can't really tell, okay? So these are not overstuffed like I did this one right here. So just a couple of lessons that I learned. So I'm gonna be smoking these in my PK100 Smoker. And the nice thing about these casings that I did get from PS Seasoning is that it has this really high-end string right here. Not sure if it's nylon or not, but that is really grabbing a hold of that casing. So I've got these rods. I'm gonna put about, probably 5 on each one and 4 on the last one, just like that. And these are gonna hang inside my PK100 Smoker. I've got it warming up at 135 degrees. I'll see you guys outside. All right, so I've got my PK100 Smoker running at 135 degrees, and I am using a mixed hardwood sawdust, and I did moisten it with a little bit of water. Now I did funnel it out like that way it burnt like a wick, if you will. So let me show you the setup inside my PK100 Smoker. So I did miscount earlier. I don't know how it happened, but I have 17 summer sausage rolls, as you can see right there. And I do have a probe right down the middle of that one in the center, and right now it's measuring 53 degrees. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my sawdust pan right on top of the burner on the bottom. I've got the damper set at 2/3 open. So we're just gonna shut the door and let this smoke for about 2 hours. And I'll bring you guys back at that point. Stay tuned. All right, so the summer sausage has been smoking for 2 hours now, and we still have plenty of smoke going on. The internal temperature is 116 degrees. Let's take a look at them. Ooh, smoky, smoky, smoky. All right, so as you can see, the casings definitely have a darker color. We're sitting at 116 degrees. We need to get these to an internal temperature of 150 degrees. So I'm gonna shut the door. So now I'm gonna set the smoker at 155 degrees. All right, so I've got it set at 155. We'll see you guys back in about an hour and a half. Stay tuned. All right, so we are at the 3.5 hour mark, and what's interesting is that our temperature only went up about 1 degree. So I'm gonna go ahead and crank this baby up to 180 degrees, and we will start cooking. All right, 180. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down the vents, the intake and exhaust. 100% closed. And we are sitting at 117 degrees internal. I just cranked up the temperature to 180. I will let you guys know exactly how long it takes for these summer sausages to hit 155 degrees internal. Stay tuned. Okay, so 7 hours later and our sausages have hit an internal temperature of 155 degrees. Now I decided to take them up to 155 instead of 150 just to end up with a firmer sausage. So let's pull them off. All right, so they are looking nice and pretty, beautiful color. So I'm gonna throw them in an ice bath, let them cool down to 80 degrees. Then we'll go inside and cut into it. Stay tuned. All right, so the summer sausage is cooled down to 80 degrees internal, and the casing did shrink a little bit, for example, on this one, not so much on this one. So you guys that are experienced in making the summer sausage, let me know if that case shrinking is normal, but I'm pretty happy with the results so far. But let's cut into it and see how we did. Using my Dell strong knife here. Look at that. Nice, smooth texture. Really nice color. That cheese is perfectly distributed. You got pieces of jalapeno in there. So far, so good. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this fibrous casing off. All right, so as you can see, this has a beautiful color, really nice smoky color. And these fibrous casings, believe it or not, they do let smoke in and they release moisture as well. So they work really well for making these summer sausages. So far I am really happy with this. So I'm just gonna take a few slices. Oh man, look at that. This looks absolutely perfect. The only thing left to do is to taste it, and hopefully I nailed it on the taste side as well. Oh, this smells absolutely delicious. Check that out. All right, I'm gonna take my thumbnail picture and I'll bring you guys right back for the taste test. Stay tuned. All right, so I've got my thumbnail picture and I cannot wait to give this summer sausage a try and see how we did. Here we go. All right, let's give it a taste. But before I do, check that out. I am really happy with that cheese and jalapeno distribution. I am so glad that I added those extra 4 jalapenos to this mix. Here we go. Wow. Man, I can't believe how delicious the summer sausage is. You know, the store-bought sausage is good, but it has nothing on this homemade summer sausage. This is fantastic. All right, so this is my first time ever making summer sausage, and it really took me back to the first time that I ever made sausage links. It's a lot of work, but the end result is so satisfying. This is absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend that you guys give it a try. If you guys are interested in buying some of the meat products that I use in this video, the grinder, the stuffer, the mixer, the scales, and even the seasoning from PS Seasonings, make sure that you guys check out the description box. You can click on those links and you also get a nice discount. I hope you guys enjoyed my summer sausage video. If this is your first time here, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Until next time, Joe at Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.